Justice and Homeland Security reporter Jack Date and host and legal analyst for the Law and Crime Network, Terry Austin. Thank you both for being here. Jack, this special grand jury doesn't have the power to charge anyone. So what's the point of bringing Giuliani in today?
Well, I think the point is that the grand jury itself can hear from him, potentially see what he has to say to answer some of their questions about what he did in Fulton County. I mean, he came and told a story about a suitcase full of ballots, and, you know, as the president's lawyer, he can be a powerful advocate for Donald Trump, but he can't, in official proceedings, lie. And I think that's the problem he finds himself in. It's really unlikely that he's going to say much to the grand jury. He's likely to say that he has attorney-client privilege in conversations that he had with Trump, and also he may plead the fifth as well. So but you know, that may reflect on him in terms of how the grand jury interprets those types of defenses on his part.
Terry, Giuliani's lawyers say that he is a target of this investigation. What's the significance of that, and what is Giuliani expected to say today?
Well, the target is the highest level. You can be investigated and you can be brought before the grand jury as a witness or as a subject or as a target. But if you're a target, that means there will probably be an indictment against you. And the proceedings mean that you will have to testify. And when you testify, you could either claim the fifth, which you probably will, because as a target, he is going to have some culpability. So this is a very serious charge here as far as this investigation is concerned. And he should be ready to either plead the fifth or, you know, perhaps he is going to do some sort of cooperation agreement. And he could do that on a global basis.
Jack, how long can it take the special grand jury to investigate this case?
Well, you know, it could take them a year to really look at this case. They're going to produce a report, and then if the report recommends charges, another grand jury could take that up and consider whether individuals ought to be charged.
And Terry, tomorrow a judge will hold a hearing on unsealing the Mar-a-Lago search warrant, as we just discussed with Terry Moran. How do you think that will play out?
You know, I think that we're not going to see any details or the affidavit behind that Mar-a-Lago investigation, because I think the FBI doesn't want to show all of its cards. I think it'll be something that has not been done before, because when you show all of the roadblocks and all of the information in that particular affidavit, it means that you are showing your hand. So I don't think that that's going to be turned over at this point. I think we are just going to know generally what we have been seeing so far, which is that they've got all of these boxes of information and that these boxes include documents which are classified documents. But we're not going to see exactly what it is the DOJ and the FBI are laying out as far as the details are concerned.
And Terry, there's this investigation in New York where former President Trump pleaded the fifth last week when he was to be deposed. There's, of course, the hearing set for tomorrow about this affidavit in the Mar-a-Lago search, and Rudy Giuliani testifying today. Could what Rudy Giuliani says today have an impact on either or both of these other investigations?
Absolutely. The New York proceeding is really a civil proceeding, and it's for his finances, and he's pleading the fifth. And in a civil proceeding, you can use that against the individual. Perhaps it will be done in this case. I think Giuliani, if he does in fact testify, is really going to affect overall the Department of Justice claims that Trump is now currently possibly facing, and that would be obstruction of an official proceeding, because they did try to stop and certify that election. It could be conspiracy to defraud the United States because they were claiming election fraud. It could even be, as far as the January 6th insurrection is concerned, seditious conspiracy. So I think Giuliani's testimony is going to have more to do with what the Department of Justice is looking at versus what the New York State Attorney General is doing on her civil case.
And Jack, do you think anything that Giuliani says today could offer any sort of clues as to the strategy in these other investigations and how Trump's side of things is approaching them?
We'll have to see if he in fact cooperates with this grand jury and takes their questions. Again, I think it's possible he could plead the fifth. It's possible that he could claim a privilege in terms of responding. So it's unclear at this point what impact it'll have. But overall, it's crystal clear that the former president, is facing legal problems on multiple fronts, and those problems continue to grow by the day.
So, Terry, what, if any, charges do you think could come out of what's happening in Georgia now and the current proceedings around Mar-a-Lago?
Well, I do think that we could very well see charges as far as Giuliani is concerned. Look, he's already been disbarred in New York and in D.C., but he could face some serious charges in connection with this. He testified in front of Congress in Georgia that there was election fraud. He knew that there was no election fraud. He put people's lives in danger. Those election workers that we referred to earlier, they have had death threats. So I definitely think that the Attorney General there is looking to really make sure that this doesn't happen again, and to make sure that, you know, Giuliani, who was behind it, remember, he spoke to a number of other people, and Steve Bannon is one of those other people, and they talked about how they're going to go about making sure that Trump remains or is the winner of that election. So I do think that Willis is going to make sure that she charges him with either false statements to the government or solicitation of election fraud or even threats of violence as it relates to those election workers.
All right, Jack Date, Terry Austin, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.